Saying good morning to our listeners, good morning to our viewers. Welcome to another edition of To The Point, today being Thursday, the 27th day of November 2025. Good morning to one and all, especially those of you via social media platforms. Good morning to you on Facebook page, YouTube channels. Good morning. And you know what happens on a Thursday here on To The Point? We host various departments within the RGPF. And of this morning, we do have from the Central Division, right?
Central Division?
Yes,
Central Police Station.
Central Police Station.
Yes.
Of course, we have Inspector Lambert with us this morning. Inspector Lambert, good morning and welcome.
Good morning. Thank you for having me, JT, and good morning to the listening public.
All right.
Season greetings to everyone.
It's the first time I'm having you on the program, right?
Yes, it's the first time.
And it's the first time for you also?
With you. I've been with Lou Smith before and other...
I thought she was actually making a bit of a debut with me.
No, I've been on Beyond the Headlines of the program before.
All right, okay. Very well. Nice to know that. Well, welcome once again. Welcome back once again. Our focus of conversation this morning will be on the UTED operations, of course, including, the Peter Larceny Task Force and all that. But I think they were not with us this morning.
They are not with us this morning, unfortunately. They will do a separate program, so I'll just be focusing on
Okay. So, being Central Police, we focus a whole bit of that specific for St. George's. I think that's the division that you are in charge of.
The station, so just a little bit by way of explanation.
Okay.
Central Division comprises of Central Police Station, St. Paul's Police Station, and South St. George Police Station. So there's 3 stations under the umbrella of Central Division. So Central Police Station is just one. It's a subunit. Yes.
Just one. Okay, understand. Yes. Understand that. Yeah. So let's go through our conversation while we start. As you mentioned, UTEL operations and specific for the division that you're in charge of. There's always that expectation that the division will expect from the general public, especially around this time of year. Even though it's Christmas, folks have a tendency to free up a bit. We will say that. But it still has to be done in a mannerly way. And there still has to be a level of control in terms of from the police department. What are the expectations from the general public?
Yes, so we expect the public to partner with us in ensuring that they have a safe Christmas, and they will be the first line of defense in ensuring that they enjoy a safe and enjoyable Christmas. So that's what we want, partnership. We want to also educate them so that they're aware. So as of November, we are in the first phase of our UTED operation, which entails community engagement and outreach education, because we believe that if persons are knowledgeable, then they're empowered to act proactively. So it's the first phase of our operation, engagement, sensitization. So it's the reason why I'm here this morning. Okay.
I mean, engagements like this is also important, where you come and you disperse information, of course, to the public, especially our listeners and viewers. I'm assuming there have been engagements with going out in the field and so forth, communities, and having those conversations. How has this conversation been? What has been the general feedback, especially from citizens, in terms of what their expectations from the police also?
Yes, so generally, I've been on a few of those. The members of the public are expressing satisfaction and appreciation for our presence on the ground. It serves to reassure the public by being highly visible in the community. It serves to reassure that we are here, we are there to protect, we're here to engage and to listen to their concerns. So generally, we've been having positive feedback. Persons are telling us what they expect from us as a policing station, how they expect us to assist them in being safe. So businesses will ask for increased mobile patrols, increased presence. Some will say, okay, we will want your officers to pass by a little bit more regularly, pop in. And so they're asking for more of that. And so they welcome that engagement.
Okay, great. Nice to hear that. Now, let's talk about the intention of Central Police Station for the UTED season period. I'm assuming there's a period line that you will be up in your game, as some folks would say.
Yes.
What are some of the intentions?
Right. So our intention for the division, and if I may just explain a little bit, our intention flows from the overall strategic plan. So the Commissioner of Police and his executive team will create a strategic plan overall, and then we will feed from that and develop our own plan based on that. So it flows from the general intention of the Royal Grenadier Police Force to ensure that Grenadians and visitors to our shows have an enjoyable and safe Christmas, and that includes the business community, members of the public, tourists, everyone that for whatever reason, touches our soil, will have a safe and enjoyable Christmas season. And for us, the season starts from October 15th. That's when the operation starts, because we want to be proactive in terms of engagement, and it ends in January. So it's an extended period before and after the Christmas season.
Understand.
Yes.
All right. So the intention that you mentioned is to make sure the citizens are safe,
yes,
especially visitors to Ireland. If we have a level of comfort while they're here,
yes.
The business community, of course, who may be opening for extended hours,
yes,
should have a feel of comfort in terms of when their business is open, patrons visiting their business and so forth, customers per se visit their business. They have a level of comfort, so that's where the police comes around there,
yes,
and make sure that these business establishments, visitors, as you mentioned, feel a level of security.
Yes.
Because it's one of the, it's not only, I know sometimes the police will make this, it's not always about security, but the level of comfort that you feel also, yes, within your establishment and so forth.
Yes, and it's not only crime, we say, but the fear of crime as well.
Yes.
Just that perception that something may happen is also important. And we know what the Yuletide season brings.
Yeah.
So that is why we have this adjusted posture, heightened security posture, because with the festive season, we have increasing the flow of cash. We have persons, so we expect a heightened opportunity for crime to flourish. So hence our proactive posture in terms of security and so forth, because the season brings with it these sort of opportunities. Also, the historical experiences is that around that time we have increased pickpockets, increased sidewalk vending, alcohol, and so there is increased risk of these offenses occurring.
With the height of the season, and of course, and you mentioned there are incidents that suddenly take a bit of an upward swing around this time of the year.
Course,
yes. And you mentioned folks want to feel, folks are becoming a little more vulnerable around that time.
Yes.
Folks are a little bit carefree in terms of the activity they will be attending or going about their regular way of business, especially around this time. They feel to act a little bit carefree.
Yes.
You understand? What are some of the challenges that you think that the department, per se, will be facing, more or less?
Yes. Well, Central Police Station is unique, and I always say that's why they call it Central, because it is central to the policing of Grenada, because we police the capital and the surrounding villages. So we have an awesome task. It is the commercial hub of the island, and our main institutions, our parliament, well, even GBN, right, is in our policing, policing district. So we do have an awesome responsibility, Central Police Station, that we take very seriously for policing the capital. Yeah. And I say, okay, we have our constituents in Central District, but by extension, the whole of Grenada, because everyone touches and concerns the capital. So at some point in time, every Grenadian or every visitor, most likely, will come in contact with our officers and all the security that we provide, and will rely on the security that we provide. So we do have an awesome task in Central Police Station. Yes, our constituents are wide and varied and mixed, and has a lot of economic and other implications for the island. And in case of our reputation as well, as to what exists and the image that we portray to the world and to our constituents.
All right, great. We drew for a break. Let's take it. We have our first break for the program this morning. Let's take the break. When we come back, we continue the conversation. Stay with us, folks. To the Point, Classic Radio, GBN TV. We will be right back after the brief break. Don't touch it out.
Megaforce Promotions, in proud collaboration with Ariza Credit Union and GBN, presents Grenada's biggest flea market at Monroe's Plainfield, Saturday 21st and Sunday 22nd December, 9 a.m. to 9 p.m. daily. Shop unbeatable deals on bed and curtain sets, appliances, household items, electrical and plumbing supplies, toys, Christmas decorations, clothing and shoes, perfumes and colognes, wines and drinks, and just about everything else. Plus a kids area, live entertainment, food and drink stalls. Want to be a vendor? Call 440-4646 to book your spot before they're all gone. Admission $5. 2 full days of deals and more deals. Shopping, fun and savings. Monroe's Plainfield Flea Market. Don't miss it. culture, creativity, and community. It's the Kamahon Folk and Buy Local Festival happening on Friday, December 5th to Sunday, December 7th at the Sotes Bus Terminal in St. Patrick. Friday, December 5th will be the opening night with prayers and worship. Then feel the rhythm ride with theater performances. On Saturday, December 6th, it's Market Day and cultural celebration in Sotes. Come celebrate our roots with Asaraka. Sunday, December 7th, it's the grand finale. Folk celebration. We close the festival with pure culture, the rich traditions that makes us who we are. So mark your calendars. Friday, December 5th to Sunday, December 7th. Sotes Bus Terminal, Kamahon Folk and Buy Local Festival. This event is brought to you by Ministry of Tourism, Creative Economy and Culture in partnership with the Ministry of Foreign Affairs, Trade and Export Development.
Grenada Get Ready, GBN, the Ministry of Education, and the Division of Culture proudly presents Christmas Harmony 1.0, the inaugural primary school carol singing competition. Join us on Friday, December the 5th at 1 p.m. at the Grenada Trade Center. Magical voices, festive spirit, and exciting competition await. Tickets, adults $10, children $5. Christmas Harmony 1.0, no better place to be. Be there.
Welcome back once again to our listeners. Welcome back, viewers. It's To The Point, Classic Radio, GBN TV. Welcome back, Inspector Lambert, to today's program. I want to touch a wee bit on, from time to time there will be various breaches that's going to occur, especially around this time of the year. Folks vending and so forth. And the police would like them to go about their trade in a peaceful manner, undisturbed, from individuals who may just want to prey on them for various reasons. What sort of advice would you like to throw out this morning, especially to individuals who may become victims of these breaches and so forth?
Yes, thank you, JT. For the Yuletide season, historically, and we expect the same to occur this year, persons, of course, would want to engage in commercial activities as a means of income. So besides the regular businesses that have the establishment, we usually find out of pop-up vendors who will looking to capitalize on the season. And of course, we encourage persons to make an honest dollar, because outside of that, the alternative is maybe illegal activities. So we encourage persons to make an honest dollar. However, we want it to be done in a way that creates a conducive environment for the shoppers themselves. What we find happening is that everybody wants to occupy the footpaths to have easy access to the shoppers. And counterproductively sometimes, that keeps patrons away from the town because it is so congested and untidy that persons stay away from coming to St. George's because it's not a nice shopping experience. So sometimes we think that we do need to make a rapid dollar, but we can get more persons flowing into the capital if we have an orderly business transaction. So we want to encourage the pop-ups who will come up for the Yuletide season. So let's conduct it in a proper manner. Okay. Let's utilize venues or locations that will not obstruct footpaths.
I'm assuming locations will be, of course, made available for individuals who want to defy that trade for the particular season that is coming up.
Yes, and they are presently. So we have the market, but persons, for some reasons, because the patrons don't maybe go into the inner market,
use that particular location.
Persons will. So right now they are, but you will still find persons coming out.
I asked a question because usually around these times, particular streets may be closed off and so forth, which allow individuals who only do that particular trade seasonally.
Yes.
You understand? Around Christmas, they decide, I want to sell a couple of things. I got toys, I got things to sell. So these particular areas may be allotted for them to use. Well, we've seen that, and you're asking them to use those, or if the market is where where specifically the individual should be, that's where they should be?
Yes, we have begun engagement with the vendors. The commissioner and his team went out and had a view of the area recently. They had a walkthrough. And of course, if we want persons to not be on the footpath, ideally we should provide a location where they can, of course, make an honest dollar. So conducively, we would want to work with the vendors for them to be in a safe location, for our patrons to be safe as well, even the motorists, because it's having persons in the terrain or close to the terrain, it also poses a risk for our motorists as well as the shoppers. So ideally, of course, we will designate shopping vending areas for the increased commercial activities that we expect in the St. George's area in the capital.
All right.
Yes.
So you're basically asking folks
to
not
cooperate.
to use the sidewalks and so forth. I mean, it may seem an easier location for you. You may have the tendency to believe, well, folks are using the sidewalks, so they're going to see whatever goods that I have to sell easier, but it's not something that is recommended a whole lot.
No, it's against the law for one, right? And these are age-old laws, even before you and I were really born, they were there for a reason, right?
I like how you say that. Folks think the degree means I'm of age.
So these are laws that have, they have been there for some time, and it's there for a purpose. Recently, I understood that someone was passing on the ambulance hooked, someone, and all have caused injury. So, and then our roads are narrow as well. When you're in the drain, a motorist may lose control, and then you lose your life. So it's not safe. It is not secure, and the law is there for a reason. And we also appreciate that person need to earn a living, and so we need to balance the needs of everyone. So we're not because it's convenient for you, but that it should just be done. We want person to for others and for our visitors as well. So yes, it's against the law, and for their own safety and for the safety of the persons who will be visiting the capital and other vending areas.
So we're going to see the police being a little bit more vigilant against individuals who may think it's the best place for them to,
Presently, we do have Saturday mornings, Friday mornings, we do have sidewalk vending operations, where the officers will come with order and make sure that they engage with the vendors. We are going to be heightening that as the season heightens as well. So we want persons to cooperate with us in terms of keeping St. George's safe for our shoppers, so that people can have a very nice shopping experience, and you too can earn lots of money.
I mean, it makes an ease of flow for folks who walk around. And you remember, you see also for the motoring public also, because now that individual may not have to walk in the road because the sidewalk is not available.
Yes,
you understand. So for the motoring public, could have an ease of flow for themselves also.
Of course, some people avoid St. George's just because of that experience. They avoid even coming into the St. George's to shop because it is so chaotic. So I believe it's in everyone's interest to have an orderly shopping environment, and persons comply with the rules for their safety and for the safety of the patrons. We also have an issue of liquor license. Persons, the music that we play is about the liquor, the wine, pass the wine, and we know the parang songs, and the season they say to be merry. And persons will feel we can sell a case of Guinness or a case of malt from the cooler boxes. They will have it all over.
Those kind of pop-up bars, I like to
pop-up bars, yes.
I like to refer to them.
Yes, and they love to be at the, just at the corners or just where they can locate everyone coming in that location. First of all, they must have a liquor license to do the occasional selling of alcohol.
Once it's something of alcoholic nature and you're selling that, you have to have a license.
You must have a license. So you have the established refreshment house that they will have, or the shops, they will have the more permanent liquor license, but we do issue occasional licenses just for the season, and you must be armed with that when the police approaches you. You need to present it, and you can be charged for selling liquor without a license.
Could your goods be also confiscated if you
yes,
that far?
Yes, because if the officer has to bring it to court, then he has to present the evidence. So we'll confiscate it. Sometimes we take photographs because we have it for some time, but we must present the evidence that, look, this is what you're actually selling. So we're not taking it for our own personal reasons. It will have to be kept to be presented in the court as evidence. So we're asking persons to get the occasional license. You will have to have a reference from 2 persons who hold a permanent license. You apply for it to the Inland Revenue Department, and the last liquor license session is in December I think it's next week, the 6th or the 8th. So the time, that window, that gap is very close. It's very close. So with all that, we're asking persons not to sell the liquors. So leave it for the established places, and maybe you can look at selling maybe local juices or other things. But do not try to make $1 by being illegal, and then you have to spend it back into the court. So we say now you have the time, and hence the reason we have this session now, so that persons know what is expected and what they're supposed to do, so that there is hardly any excuse when the police approaches you. As to why
would that approach be only for within the town of St. George?
No.
Between the towns only? Can you know sometimes within the outer part of the towns and so forth, individuals do have those little pop-up bars from time to time.
Great question.
Yes. So I'm wondering if that is also for them to pay attention to also.
It's for everyone. You may find a football game or even a funeral. You will see these pop-up bars. It's something that's become part of our culture a lot now, especially for different happy hour people will pop up. So it doesn't apply just for Christmas, but as we say, we expect more of it because it's what is promoted around the season.
I want to sell something.
Yes, and we say, drink and be merry and so forth. So we expect more of that. And so we just trying to be proactive in sensitizing persons as to what the procedures are, so that we do not have to engage. We want to just have a good engagement with persons and not have to interact with them in terms of enforcing these
particular laws.
These are particular laws, yes.
Anything else, a lot of attention we put into?
Yes, loud music. Loud music. We love our parang. Sometimes, as I say, I may like country and western, you may like soca. I should not be in my home and listening to your parang, right? I must be. Grenadians have a right to the peaceful enjoyment of their home, all right? And so, it may be on a phone, you have a little speaker and it's amplified, but it really spreads, right? So some people say, I'm just playing my phone and have a little, the little speaker.
There's a little Bluetooth box.
There's a Bluetooth box. It's still amplified sound. The law is really to amplified sound. So anytime you're amplifying sound, you have to apply for permission. So it is allowed for specific occasions, but through a process. So you have to apply to the Commissioner of Police. You may have to have a birthday bash or maybe a Christmas party or something. There's a procedure that you have to go through. That the police officer, once they approach you, will have to present it. And even if you have that permission, there are restrictions as to how loud you can play it. And if an officer...
Is the timeline also available for that also?
Yes, the permit that you get would outline the time stated on it. And even though it says that and a member of the public complains, then we can ask you to lower it, right? And you should still play it for just the persons who are in the vicinity to hear. Sometimes we feel, okay, we get permission for an amplified song and it must be for the whole community. It is just for the patrons in that environment. So it doesn't have to be on full blast for the persons in that area to enjoy. So we want persons to understand that it's a nuisance, it's something that we get a lot of complaint about, and historically that offense increases during the Yuletide season, and we want persons to be aware that we be enforcing a zero tolerance approach.
Is there an option where these permissions may not be granted for various reasons? Could you tell us about that?
Right. So when you apply, which you should, we do a vetting process. So we come into the community. Sometimes we engage with the persons around to hear the view.
They will specify where they want to have.
They will have to specify where the time, the place. They'll have to specify that. Then we will pay a visit to the area and see what the surrounding is like. If it is conducive in terms of the traffic arrangements, in terms of the residential area that the area is being held, whether it's close to a hospital or close to a home. Just the surrounding area, because the law also restricts these kind of activities around these kind of sensitive areas, hospital, school zones, churches, and so forth. So you have to look at where the activity is going to be held.
I'm assuming close-knit communities too, in terms of residential areas.
Yes. So we will do.
I feel they have a bar that is close-knit to a community, and they feel they want to play music 2-3 in the morning.
Yes.
I don't think will be permitted.
Yes.
Even though it's for a period of time.
Yes.
And then folks always feel they can go beyond the time.
Yes.
Yeah, I understand that.
Yes. So the vetting is done and the recommendations they are made, and approval is either granted or not granted. So there is a process, and it could be denied based on the impact that is likely to have it.
Once the police foresee, well, if we permit you to have that event there, and I must see, well, your neighbor was going to be affected.
Yes.
Once, I say, if it is granted, and you say you can start at 7 p.m., but maybe by 10 you have to
Yes, because you may apply for the permission from 7 to say, let me say 2, 3 in the morning, and the commissioner says, okay, you're going to get it from 7 to 12, based on, our vetting, based on, we advise that we only approve it for a limited amount of time, and then you'll find sometimes the activity gets so persons want to go an extra hour, and they will call the police, can I have an extra hour, but we cannot go beyond what the permit or the commissioner approves in the permit. So we want persons to be aware of that. Amplified music is not allowed outside of the formal application process. And sometimes what we find too, JT, is that even in the villages, in the neighborhood, persons are reluctant to call the police, because when they call the police, the neighbor curses them and say, okay, you're snitching, you're polluting your thing. Yes, I know. And as soon as the police leaves the area, then you hear, that the persons are custody because conflict in the village. And so persons are shy or afraid to even call. So, but we want to assure the people, you have a right. You have a right to call, and to not be afraid, of the repercussions. If we don't enforce it, and we don't, then the culture is going to spread. We need persons to actively engage and to help the police enforce, because we may not be in the direct area where the music is being played, but we depend on your call for us to address the issue. So zero tolerance approach for the loud music. As we say, persons may want to bring cheer to the whole village by playing the parang and feel, okay, if I play for the whole community, to bring cheer for them, but I may want to worship in my home, I may want to read a scripture, I may not want to hear your parang. So let's be considerate of our neighbors. Let's abide by the law, the regulations in terms of the formal application process, and so the police will not have to. We want to avoid having this kind of interaction, so given that proactive engagement. You
mentioned a zero tolerance towards it, which means are we going to see heightened, of course, more of the police, patrols, maybe if a permission is granted, we're going to see police maybe specific time when it's supposed to have wrapped up, that we see a presence of the police, hopefully, if it's possible for that to occur.
We are doing increased day patrol as well. Okay. So even if the police, they are traversing the area and they hear the music themselves, they have a responsibility to stop. Besides somebody, outside of someone making a formal complaint, once the police hears the music themselves, they can initiate a criminal proceeding, right? Just based on what they heard. So even if you called in the community to say your neighbor is playing loud music to your disturbance, and you don't want to go to court, the police, if they heard the music on their arrival, could institute criminal proceedings in their own name, because they will have heard the loud music, and that's. It's an epidemic, I think, that we are experiencing if to use the medical term in terms of loud music, something that we really have to work harder on.
All right. Well, I'm happy that the police are going to be putting some attention to that, because sometimes it's a wee bit annoying.
Yes.
it's annoying sometimes.
Yes.
Sometimes it's not that you do not want someone to enjoy themselves or have, but I think sometimes folks need to be a little bit considerate.
Yes, within the confines of your home.
Even if you have a bar or something that is within a particular community, but I think some consideration be given for others in the community.
Yes, the bar having a bar doesn't automatically authorize you to play amplified music.
Exactly, and I think you should have I would say a shutdown time is always proper.
Yes.
Even though the bar is still open, but you should say music should be decreased to a level that maybe who is within the establishment can hear it, and you don't have to disturb the entire neighborhood by you doing that.
Yes. Even with a permission, it should also always be for the listening pleasure of those who are within the confines. So you don't have to put it up on the highest volume. Just the persons here that are patrons to your business.
Not the whole community. Sometimes it becomes a norm in Grenada, and sometimes it's hard to get it, put it under control.
Even in the vehicles now, JT. Even in the vehicles now.
It's hard to put it under control because it's been allowed to fester for so long, and so people always feel it's okay to do that.
And it's even harder when the public public just stomach it, they grind it because they're afraid to create conflict. It takes root because we don't call and we don't make a complaint. So it's even harder it takes more root when the public...
And it goes to people's relationship with others within the community. Myself and, Inspector Lambert is making a lot of noise. I wouldn't say anything.
Yes.
I wouldn't say anything.
Yes.
But it's not right.
Yeah. Even if your health,
it also affects your health too, right?
Yeah.
Because, it reduces your sleep and all of that.
Yeah.
If you are someone who goes to sleep at a particular time and you can't get that sleep, and then you have to get up earlier in the morning. So I hope folks who are listening will give these ideas some consideration and just follow the law appropriately.
Yes.
It makes life easier for everyone.
Yeah,
and for the police also.
Of course, and there may be elderly persons in the home as well. There may be students who are engaged in studying for exams. Persons have different business that they want to attend to, and should not be interrupted in their home in terms of that.
Okay. Yes. Anything else we missed on that segment?
The loud music.
Loud music. Anything else? We touched the loud music. We touched the vending.
The vending. We want to speak about the increased flow of cash around this time. People will be going to the cash machines, the ATM machines on a more regular basis, of course, to do their shopping. Then we have the remittances in terms of we have MoneyGram. We have people would be collecting money, people will be moving around with cash. So we want to encourage persons, as we say, you are the first line of defense.
Yes.
Secure yourself. Persons are looking for opportunities. The same way, you may just be about your business, but persons are on another business that involves, relieving you. It's relieving you. So to speak, So we want persons to be mindful. Usually, and I would say as a police officer, I have a heightened awareness of security.
Yes.
Because you get the complaints every day, you understand. But the normal person, it's not at the forefront of their mind.
It's not at the forefront. Especially when it comes to monitoring their cash.
Yes, and there's general safety as well. Women you may drink alcohol, may take alcohol that from persons that may be laced with something. Because it's season people will offer you a drink. So just general safety, all right? Because nothing will spoil your Yuletide season quicker than being the victim of a crime, whatever crime it is, whether it's theft, whether it's sexual abuse, whatever it is. It will surely spoil your Christmas season. We do not want that for our patrons in the Central Policing District and for the entire island. Yes, it will surely spoil your Christmas, being the victim of a crime.
And I agree with you on that, Inspector, because you don't want to have received that little bit of remittances from someone who sent you and you decide, well, that's going to make me have a really decent Christmas. And for some reason, because of the careless way in which I was, going about my business, I lost that cash. Or someone decided to make me a victim of that. And now, as you mentioned, your Christmas is no longer as grand as you would like it to be.
Of course.
And it's not only going to affect you, but maybe other members of your family who maybe have a level of dependency on you receiving those remittances. You'll understand what's going on.
Yeah, so make it difficult difficult for the persons who have it on their agenda, to commit crime. Some people, they make excuse, I want to enjoy my Christmas as much as the other person. I want to buy more than I can afford to buy, and so look to relieve persons of their assets or whatever to enjoy their Christmas. So
there are people who are going to be monitoring you for various reasons.
Of course.
They saw you go into whatever monetary institutions and you come out and maybe you think you want to show it off, so you're flashing.
Yes. And what we see as well, JT, that persons, we're in the social media age, they post where they are, they post that they're buying this, and people are looking and they're like, oh boy, I want to, to go to this show too, I want to do. People, we look and we want the same things, and we post a lot. And so you have increased visibility. People are seeing you more because you're exposing yourself more. So persons must just be aware of their general safety, what they post online, what the alcohol they consume, the crowds they visit, how they go into and from venues, so that they don't become victim of, sex crime, physical, violence, whatever. And in the Central Police Station District, we have a lot of causing harm offenses.
Yeah.
Assault offenses, that's some of our more regular offenses. Causing harm, threatening language, assault. So we have a lot of those physical type and threatening type offenses. And when persons are under the influence of alcohol, we see conflict resolution also becomes diminished. It is diminished.
How they're going to handle it.
Yes.
You understand?
Yes. Yeah, and then we know we have the firearm related offenses now. Yeah. So just your general safety, and even when you engage with persons in conflict, you try to avoid the threatening language. I'm going to trap you up, and I'm going to do this, I'm going to do that. We have a lot of these, and for some reason, JT Grenadians don't like to be threatened. They will come to the police very quickly for that. Yeah. Do not tell them that you're going to chop them, I'm going to deal with you later. They will come to us and they will report it. So we have a lot of those reports. It was one of our more trending offenses, threatening language. They will report it to the police.
Right. Is there an option where you want to tell people things to avoid individuals who you mentioned, especially who wants to walk around with dangerous weapons and so forth?
Yes. Yes.
People to avoid that. You're going to have a good time. Why do you need a knife? Where do you need to have a cutlass, and so forth? I think those are the things that folks should avoid. You're going to have a good time. That's it. I mean, even though a conversation gets heated with you and someone, it doesn't have to lead that you have to pull out your knife and something like that.
And that is one of the reasons I think persons always report a threatening language, because what follows that, persons are afraid, and that's why we talk about the fear of crime, not just crime, but the fear of crime.
Yes.
Because you put me in fear that tomorrow something may happen. So, for example, and I'll go back to the offensive weapon in a while. So you may tell somebody, I will chop you, I will deal with you. Tomorrow the person shows up dead.
Yes.
Now you become an immediate suspect because persons recall you making a threat. You may have had nothing to do with the offense, but you become an immediate suspect because of the words you uttered. So words do have consequences in terms of threatening, and it puts people in fear of crime. Tomorrow something may happen. After always be looking up at my back. So, as we say, sometimes the words is a precursor to the violence itself. And we also have a zero tolerance approach for the offensive weapon. If we find you, there's nothing about, officer, I forgot it in my bag. And, I mean, if you have a legitimate claim to that.
But you will be farming at midnight, right?
But it's not all the time you find them at midnight. But really the law says you have to have a reasonable excuse. Yes. So it does provide for you to have a reasonable excuse that can be substantiated.
Why are you carrying a weapon of that nature?
Well, weapon in terms of a cutlass, you're a farmer, you expect you to have a cutlass, not a firearm. So it must be matching what you say, and the police must be able to verify that, okay, it did come from the farm. We will check on that. But normally, based on the circumstances you met the person, where you met the person, you know that the excuse is not reasonable. Mm-hmm. So just from experience in policing, you know what you have to prove in the court. So, but once we find it and we have substantiated the charge or the offensive weapon, you are going to be arrested, you are going to be charged, and you are going to be prosecuted for the offense.
All right, great. Right? Inspector Lambert, we drew for a break. Let's take it. And when we come back, of course, we've been chatting for a wee bit. Let's take that break. When we come back, I'll chat some more. We also get the opportunity to our listeners, if they do have a question or two, or if there's anything else you want to add in terms of the conversation, we'll do that when we come back after the break. Stay with us, folks. We'll be right back. Don't touch it out.
When you need your...
Megaforce Promotions, in proud collaboration with Ariza Credit Union and GBN, presents Grenada's biggest flea market at Monroe's Plainfield, Saturday 21st and Sunday 22nd December, 9 a.m. to 9 p.m. daily. Shop unbeatable deals on bed and curtain sets, appliances, household items, electrical and plumbing supplies, toys, Christmas decorations, clothing and shoes, perfumes and colognes, wines and drinks, and just about everything else. Plus a kids area, live entertainment, food and drink stalls. Want to be a vendor? Call 440-4646 to book your spot before they're all gone. Admission $5. 2 full days of deals and more deals. Shopping, fun and savings. Monroe's Plainfield Flea Market. Don't miss it.
Grenada! Get ready to celebrate culture, creativity, and community. It's the Kamahon Folk and Buy Local Festival happening on Friday, December 5th to Sunday, December 7th at the Sates Bus Terminal in St. Patrick. Friday, December 5th will be the opening night with prayers and worship. Then feel the rhythm ride with theater performances. On Saturday, December 6th, it's Market Day and cultural celebration in Sates. Friends. Come celebrate our roots with Asaraka. Sunday, December 7th. It's the grand finale. Folk celebration. We close the festival with pure culture, the rich traditions that makes us who we are. So mark your calendars. Friday, December 5th to Sunday, December 7th. Sates Bus Terminal, Kamahon Folk and Buy Local Festival. This event is brought to you by Ministry of Tourism, Creative Economy and Culture
in partnership with the Ministry of Foreign Affairs, Trade and Export Development.
Grenada Get Ready, GBN, the Ministry of Education, and the Division of Culture proudly presents Christmas Harmony 1.0, the inaugural primary school carol singing competition. Join us on Friday, December the 5th at 1 p.m. at the Grenada Trade Center. Magical voices, festive spirit, and exciting competition await. Tickets, adults $10, children $5. Christmas Harmony 1.0, no better place to be. Be there.
Welcome back to our listeners. Welcome back, viewers. We have Inspector Lambert with us this morning, and certainly an interesting conversation we're having in terms of, the Utah season is approaching, and a lot of do's and don'ts.
Yes.
We spoke a whole lot about that this morning. This segment we give it to our listeners and viewers. We have approximately 15 more minutes left on today's program. You have the option of calling in 435-2041. You heard the conversation we have, and if anything you want to chime in on the conversation this morning, maybe a bit of a clarification and some of the contribution, of course, Inspector Lambert made in terms of the vending and stuff like that, the obtaining of license. If you may want some clarification on that, she's certainly able to help you with that this morning. 435-2041. That's the number. And as I mentioned, double the options for you to call in. We have the WhatsApp and the direct line. Both carries the same number, 435-2041. So the opportunity is, of course, offered to you to, of course, Inspector Lambert, as we are waiting the calls to come in.
Yes.
The Utah season is upon us, and it's important that folks, especially their homes. We haven't touched that much this morning, but your personal property also is important in terms of how you secure it.
Of course.
You're going to be leaving it unattended for a period of time. Make sure that don't follow the norms. I mean, it may not be the first time it may have been mentioned, but don't leave it under the mat and under the floor pot, your keys and all of that. There are individuals who thinking the same way too, and they may say, that's where I may leave it, but doesn't mean that you have to follow suit.
Yes.
So make sure that your homes are properly secured. Any other advice you want to throw to folks as we await the phone calls to come in?
Yes, so we said don't leave it below the mat, the keys. So another option could be cutting keys for adults in the home.
If there's other individuals,
if there are others in the or maybe leaving to their trusted neighbor who someone come, they can check there for it. We also have some customers be taking on the blinds a few days before Christmas, and so we leave everything open for view and so forth. We have an exposure problem.
Still do that?
Yes. Some people still do. Some people still do. They take down the blinds before, and so you leave everything now, for eye shopping.
Yes.
So we still say be careful in terms of how you expose. We talk about target hardening, making it difficult for the persons to, even if you don't see it, crime is sometimes an opportunity crime.
I may see Inspector Lambert just got a brand new TV.
Yeah.
And I'm paying attention, and then I know she loved the house.
Yes.
So maybe I want to pray on the house because she just got a new TV.
And then the social media, we post what we just go and shop, and so people are aware. When you're leaving, you leave a light on to kind of think if you're leaving for maybe a late night shopping or you're going to an activity, try and leave a light on. Simply even leave the radio on. You can leave GBN on.
Yeah.
So that persons think that, you create this decoy, this thing to create the impression that there is someone at home.
Yeah.
In terms of fire safety, in terms of making the kids at home, in terms of the lights, the fire department will be here, of course, in future engagement to sensitize the public on safety procedures for the Yuletide season in terms of lighting and so forth. Yeah, right. But it's just worth mentioning that these are the things that not only crime but safety as well is also important, because you do not want to be there and then your house is destroyed because of a fire. Yeah. Then we may have the youths at home, the children at home. Yeah,
have that conversation with them and the do's and don'ts also.
Yes.
Playing with the flammable liquids and so forth and stuff. Put them away if you're going to be leaving them unattended, or if you have
should not be leaving them unattended.
You shouldn't be leaving them unattended. But if it comes down to that make sure someone is able to look in on them from time to time in the house, maybe a trustful neighbor or friend. They could look at them for you from time to time, even though they may be not staying in the house directly, but they could look in on them. And you probably have surveillance system that I can stay here and look at my house all the time, so I know the kids are home, so I know what they're doing.
Right.
Sometimes you could have that set up in a particular way that makes it easier, and take that a little bit of a worry off for you if you can see it down.
Yeah, and then having the conversation. We intend at Central Police Station to engage the schools before they close. In terms of, we speak about business safety, we speak about home and property, but we don't speak of youth and children safety during the Yuletide season. So we want to target the schools just before they go out to engage with the youth in terms of what they engage in during the Yuletide season. Their own safety and the do's and don'ts, right? Talking to strangers, maybe consuming alcohol, just being a minor, and the dangers of engaging in these type of activities. We see a lot of gambling now, a lot of youth gambling, and so just having that conversation with them. We are starting that program soon. All right.
I think we do have a caller live. I think we may have lost that caller there. 435-2041. Of course, you're listening and viewing us this morning, and you hear the nature of our conversation. If you want to chime in terms of asking a question or two, feel free to do it in this segment. 435-2041. We do have another caller. Let's see if we get this caller. Caller live. Good morning. Welcome. Caller, good morning.
Good morning. Good morning.
Good morning to you. Let's hear from you. Caller, go right ahead, please. Let's hear your contribution.
A couple of days ago, I was listening to this same program, and
caller, for some reason you have your television or the radio up, which is a wee bit too loud. I think it's causing you a little bit of distraction there a wee bit. So why don't you turn it off?
Exactly. Let me just turn it on a little bit.
Caller, you back? Caller, you back? I guess we may have to move on just a wee bit. When the caller gets himself settled, he could always return the call. As we get into the stage of wrapping up, we still just about 5 more minutes left on the program this morning. Since we have the calls coming so slowly this morning, I would assume callers understand a lot of what we spoke about this morning, and hopefully that they will be able to practice a lot of what we mentioned this morning. I see we do have a WhatsApp call. Let's take this call and see what this caller has to offer. Caller live. Good morning.
Yes, good morning, GT and the officer.
Good morning to you.
Part of the program, but I think I picked up enough that they're talking about sidewalk shopping and so. I want to commend the move last year where the shopping area was at the back of the police business in town there. It was a pleasure to shop there. I only wish that if they do it again, they put some little musical thing, because Christmas shopping, a lot is done by children. So you make it a little more merry. But it was quite safe there, and the town was very nice to walk through. So I just want to commend them for that, yes?
All right, thank you. Thank you so much. Let's go back to, we have another caller. Caller, you're live. Good morning, welcome.
Hello.
Caller, let's hear from you, caller. Go right ahead, please.
Yeah, you know. I was saying a couple days ago on this same program, UGT, you had made you had asked the police a question. You said to him, if a driver leaves his car keys in the car, if he could be charged for that. And
I was asking the police officer that question, you said, sir?
Yes, I think it's you asking, yes. I'm not too sure, but I think it's you.
All right,
but in any case, for the same program. And he said he don't know about that. He don't think you could charge him. But as far as I know, from since I was small, if a driver leaves his keys in a car, the police could charge him. And not only that, if the driver also leaves his car idling, he could be charged for that. No. The driver himself, if he leave it, and I see the car open, and I go in it and start it and go with it. Later on, if he call the police and say that I took the car, even though the police can arrest me, I could win the case. Because what I want to say is, he lend me the car, and he tell me, don't stay long, and I stay for the whole day. I decided to fit with it, and he called the police. I go and tell the police, he lend me the key, and he tell me, come back in an hour. And because I didn't come back in an hour, he said, I take the car. So I want the police to tell me, if it is true that if a man leaves his key in the car, or his car idling, if he cannot be charged.
Thank you, caller. Let's see if we get a response from the officer. I'm not sure if you get the direction of where the caller is going at.
Well, he's trying to confirm, I guess, what the police would have said last week, whether it was true or not. But I do not know what the police said last week.
Yeah.
So
I can't remember asking a question of that nature, though. But
yeah. So I will. I wouldn't want to comment because I do not know what the police said last week.
But you do understand what he's actually speaking in reference to.
Well, he's saying if you leave a vehicle,
if you leave your keys within the car, you leave your vehicle idling, and he took it, and if he could be charged for taking the vehicle.
Yeah, what he's saying.
If you say that the person lent you the vehicle, something of that nature, something of that nature. Yeah. But we do have another caller. Let's move on. Caller, you're live via WhatsApp. Good morning, welcome.
Yes, good morning. Thank you so much for taking my call. And how are you doing this morning?
We're doing good. Let's hear from you if you have a contribution to make.
Yes, I really thank God for a morning like this. And my encouragement this morning to our nation. We are coming down to the close of another year. We do not know what the new year holds for us people of Grenada, Carriacopity, Martinique. We are talking about safety at this time where this Yuletide season, now they call it the Christmas season, I would call it. We are close to the Christmas season. But let us put our trust in the Lord, people of Grenada, Carriacopity, Martinique, and throughout the regions beyond this morning. Because what is going on in our world today, this is just what the Bible tells us will happen in the last days. Perilous times are upon us. Evil days are upon us. It's not going to get better out here. Our only betterment and safety is in the Lord Jesus Christ. People, let's give our life to the Lord. We are seeing so much things happening. People dying like wildfire. Christ is coming again. Let us prepare to meet our God. Let us let go of whatever we're holding on to, whatever sinful lifestyle. It's not going to give us any good reward. Let us accept Jesus Christ as our Lord and Savior. Get saved, serve the Lord, and God will take care of us as a people. People, we need the Lord, and we need Him right now. We're living in troubled times. May God bless everyone, and I want to wish all the best for the new year and the future ahead. Put our life in God's hand, and even that situation that is before us as a nation. Let us pray, Grenada. We do not know what is before us. first. Let us seek God. The Bible says, seek him while he may be found. Call upon him while he is near. Let us forsake our evil ways. God is not pleased with the nations of the earth today, and he is coming for a people that is ready to meet him, blood washed, accept him as their Lord and Savior, and serving him in spirit and in truth.
Thank you, caller. Thank you, caller. Thank you very much. Inspector Lambert, it's 10 a.m. It's about time for us to take a wrap for this morning. Anything in closing before we take a wrap this morning?
Yes. So I would like to salute the officers of Central Police Station and the Division and all the officers of the Royal Grenadier Police Force. We have an awesome task ahead collectively to keep our nation safe. I'm inviting the public to partner with us in this regard, and we also would like to place the nation on alert that our posture will be heightened as the season progresses. We're now in the engagement and education stage. It may sound repetitive, but some persons may have heard the same messages over, but it's important that we bring these messages to the forefront of your mind. Safety and security in all regard, not just crime, but your personal safety, the safety of your property, the business places, and we're going to continue our engagement. And we are here to serve, and we promise to do our best to ensure that you have a safe and enjoyable Christmas this year.
Inspector Lambert, I want to thank you once again for coming on the program. I wish you and of course the department a safe Christmas, and certainly hope that of course the plans for the season rolls out smoothly and it rolls incident free.
Yes.
All right. Thank you so much.
Thank you for having me.
All right. Yes. So true. Hey folks, that's we're going to take a wrap for today's edition of To The Point. I want to thank all who contributed towards today's program. Thank you so much. Join me again tomorrow for another edition. Goodbye.